Dr. Sarah Chen stared at the readout from the deep-sea monitoring station, her coffee growing cold beside her. The signal hadn't changed in 3 days, a perfect, rhythmic pulse emanating from 12 kilometers beneath the Pacific Ocean floor. No natural phenomenon could explain it. Dr. Chen, her assistant Marco, appeared in the doorway of her cramped office at the Pacific Geological Research Center. The Navy's here. She'd been expecting them. The signal's pattern was too precise, too intentional to ignore. As she walked into the conference room, Sarah found herself facing not just Navy personnel, but representatives from NASA, DARPA, and several other agencies she didn't recognize. Admiral James Harris, a stern-faced man with steel-gray hair, spoke first. "Dr. Chen, tell us about the signal." Sarah activated the wall display, showing the waveform analysis. 3 days ago, our deep-sea monitoring network detected an energy signature unlike anything we've recorded before. It's coming from far deeper than any known geological feature should exist. The pattern repeats exactly every 47 minutes and contains what appears to be encoded information. Could it be natural? A NASA scientist asked. No. Sarah's response was immediate. The signal contains prime numbers in sequence. Whatever's generating it, it's artificial. And old. Very old. The surrounding rock layers suggest it's been there for at least 100,000 years. The room fell silent. Admiral Harris leaned forward. "What are you suggesting, Doctor?" "I'm suggesting we found something that shouldn't exist. And it's waking up." Within days, the Pacific Geological Research Center transformed into a military operation. The world's most advanced deep-sea drilling ship, the Challenger Deep, anchored above the signal's location. Sarah found herself working alongside Dr. Victor Patel, the foremost expert in theoretical xenorchaeology, a field that had been largely theoretical until now. "The energy signature is increasing," Victor said, examining the latest data. "Whatever's down there, it's becoming more active." The drilling operation proceeded faster than anyone had expected. The mysterious signal seemed to be affecting the drilling equipment, making the rock more malleable. On the 10th day, they broke through into a vast cavity. The first camera feeds showed something impossible: a massive structure of gleaming metal, untouched by time or pressure. Its surface was covered in intricate patterns that seemed to shift and move in the camera's lights. "That's no alien artifact," Sarah whispered, studying the patterns. "Those are mathematical constants, pi, phi, Euler's number, expressed in a base 12 system. This was built by people who thought like us." The discovery of an access point led to the deployment of the first exploration team. Sarah insisted on going, despite the military's objections. As their submersible approached the structure, sections of it began to illuminate, creating a path to what appeared to be an entrance. The team's tension was palpable as they docked with the ancient structure. Sarah led the way, her heart pounding as their lights revealed corridors that seemed to stretch for kilometers. The air inside was breathable, the temperature a perfect 20 degrees Celsius. They found the central chamber on their 3rd day of exploration. It was a vast spherical room with a platform in the center. As Sarah approached, the platform activated, projecting a holographic image that filled the chamber, a map of the galaxy, with several points highlighted in brilliant blue. A voice spoke, not in any known language, but somehow perfectly understandable. Identity confirmed. Human genetic markers recognized. Activating Archive Protocol Alpha. The hologram shifted, showing Earth as it was 100,000 years ago. A civilization of humans, far more advanced than anything in recorded history, building massive ships and structures. Then came images of a catastrophe, a gamma-ray burst approaching the solar system. The ancient humans had known it was coming. They didn't die out, Sarah realized. They didn't evolve. They went into hiding. They'd buried their technology and modified themselves, us, to survive what was coming. We're not their descendants. We're them. We're the backup plan. As if in response to her understanding, New information began flooding the holographic displays. There were more facilities like this one, hidden across the solar system. And now, after 100,000 years of silence, they were all beginning to wake up. The signal hadn't been random. It was a response to humanity reaching a specific technological threshold. Their ancestors had left them a test, and they had finally passed it. Sarah turned to Admiral Harris, her voice steady despite the weight of what she was about to say. "Admiral, we need to contact every major space agency and research center on Earth. What we found here isn't just a structure or a library. It's a birthright. And it's not the only one." The signal pulsed again, stronger now, and throughout the solar system, other ancient facilities began to stir. Humanity's true history was about to be revealed, and with it, their place among the stars. The news broke like a tidal wave across the globe. Despite government's best efforts to keep the Pacific discovery contained, satellite imagery of similar structures activating on Mars and Venus leaked online. Humanity's response was immediate and unprecedented. Space agencies worldwide pooled their resources, private companies redirected their satellites, and observatories turned their gaze to the coordinates specified in the archive. Dr. Sarah Chen found herself at the heart of it all, working with an international team to decode the vast repository of knowledge left behind by their ancestors. The facility beneath the Pacific, which they now called the Nexus, continued to reveal its secrets. "Look at this," Dr. Victor Patel called out, manipulating a holographic display. "They didn't just leave us technology. They left us a map of human expansion across the galaxy." The display showed thousands of stars, with hundreds marked in various colors. Each marking represented a colony ship that had left Earth before the gamma ray burst, carrying millions of modified humans to distant stars. They didn't just prepare for survival on Earth, Sarah realized. They hedged their bets across the entire galaxy. The Nexus's eye, which they had named ARIA, Ancient Records Intelligence Assistant, provided more context. The dispersion protocol was enacted to ensure human survival. Multiple evolutionary paths were initiated. Some were modified to survive extreme environments, others to maintain technological knowledge. Earth branch humans were designed to rebuild civilization from basic principles. The revelation sparked a new space race. The first Mars mission to reach the activated facility there made an astonishing discovery: a shipyard hidden beneath the surface of Olympus Mons. The vessels it contained defied modern physics, their hulls made of materials that could alter their molecular structure at will. Dr. Elena Santos, the lead researcher on Mars, sent back footage that left the Earth team speechless. "These ships aren't just spaceworthy," she reported, her voice filled with awe. "They're capable of manipulating space-time itself. The propulsion system creates controlled gravitational corridors. We could reach Alpha Centauri in weeks, not years." But with each discovery came new challenges. The activation of the ancient facilities had not gone unnoticed by others in the galaxy. Strange signals began appearing at the edge of the solar system, approaching fast. Sarah worked tirelessly with ARIA to understand the full scope of their inheritance. "Why now?" she asked the AI. "Why did our ancestors wait so long to reveal themselves?" "The timing was deliberate," ARIA explained. "Human civilization needed to reach specific technological and social benchmarks. Premature access to advanced technology would have been devastating. You needed to learn, to grow, to make your own mistakes and achievements." The holographic display shifted, showing the approaching signals. "However, the activation has alerted others to your presence. The children of the other colonies are returning. Some will welcome you. Others will challenge your right to exist." Sarah felt a chill run down her spine. "Are you saying there are other human civilizations out there? Advanced ones?" "Correct. The colony ships carried different aspects of human knowledge and culture. Some focused on biological advancement, others on technological or spiritual development. Each colony evolved along its own path. Some remained true to their original mission. Others changed significantly. The implications were staggering. Humanity wasn't alone in the galaxy, and their cousins had a 100,000-year head start. The question was, would they be greeted as long-lost family or seen as primitive competitors to be eliminated? The answer began to take shape as the first of the approaching ships entered the solar system. It was massive, easily the size of a small moon, its hull shifting and flowing like liquid metal. As it approached Mars, it transmitted a message in multiple formats, including one that perfectly matched the patterns found in the Nexus. Dr. Santos, still on Mars, was the first to decode it. Her voice cracked with emotion as she read the translation. To the children of Earth, from the children of Proxima, we have waited long for your awakening. But we are not the only ones who watched and waited. Prepare yourselves. The great trial approaches. In the Nexus, Aria's holographic form flickered with increased activity. Multiple ships detected entering the solar system. Energy signatures matching. Analyzing. Confirmed. The children of Sirius have also arrived. Their evolutionary path favored aggressive expansion. They believe only the strong deserve to inherit the legacy of the ancestors. Sarah looked at the tactical display, watching as more massive ships appeared at the edge of the solar system. Humanity had just discovered they weren't alone in the universe, and their first contact would be with their own distant relatives, evolved over 100,000 years into something perhaps no longer recognizably human. Admiral Harris entered the command center, his face grim. Dr. Chen, we're receiving reports from every major observatory. At least 30 ships have entered the system, with more appearing every hour. The President has authorized full access to the Nexus's defensive systems, assuming you can figure out how to activate them. Sarah turned to Aria. You said we had to prove ourselves worthy of our inheritance. Is this the test? The A's form shifted, showing images of battles fought long ago. This is not a test, Dr. Chen. This is survival. The children of Sirius believe that only through conflict can the true heirs of the ancestors be determined. They have conquered 12 other colony worlds. Earth is now their primary target. As if to emphasize the point, a new message arrived from the approaching fleet. Its content was simple and chilling. Prove your worth, or be erased. The children of Sirius struck without warning. Their first attack targeted the Mars facility, a precision strike that would have destroyed the ancient shipyard if not for Dr. Elena Santos' quick thinking. She managed to activate the facility's defensive systems seconds before impact, generating a shield that turned the devastating energy beam into harmless light. The shipyard's automated systems are responding, Elena reported from Mars, her voice steady despite the chaos. Something's happening to the ships we found. They're changing, adapting to the attack patterns. In the Nexus beneath the Pacific, Sarah Chen watched as ARIA displayed the tactical situation. The Syrian ships were massive, each one larger than Earth's moon. But the vessels emerging from the Mars shipyard moved with impossible grace, their hulls flowing like quicksilver as they took up defensive positions. Ancestral Defense Protocol activated, Aria announced. The Mars fleet is now online. However, it requires human pilots to operate at full capacity. Admiral Harris stepped forward. How long does it take to train a pilot? Training is unnecessary, Aria replied. The ships interface directly with human consciousness. They were designed for this moment, to be operated by the descendants of their creators. The next few hours were a blur of activity. As the Syrian fleet approached Mars, military pilots from every major nation were shuttled to the Red Planet. The Proximan ships, their distant cousins who had arrived first, took up defensive positions around Earth, their crews transmitting tactical data and warnings about Syrian battle strategies. Sarah found herself aboard one of the first shuttles to Mars, along with Victor Patel and a select group of scientists and military personnel. The ancient shipyard had transformed into a vast launch facility, its surface now dotted with sleek vessels that seemed to drink in the starlight. These ships, Victor breathed as they approached one of the smaller vessels, they're not just machines. They're alive. Aria's voice came through their comm systems. Correct. The vessels contain both mechanical and biological components, capable of learning and evolving. Each ship forms a symbiotic bond with its crew, enhancing their natural abilities and reaction times. The first battles were brief but intense. The Syrian ships attacked in waves, testing Earth's defenses. The Mars fleet, despite being crewed by pilots with no experience in space combat, responded with surprising effectiveness. The ship's neural interfaces allowed the crews to react instinctively, the vessel's adaptive technology compensating for human inexperience. "They're not trying to destroy us," Sarah realized, analyzing the battle data with AI. "These attacks are too precise, too controlled. They're testing us." A transmission from the Syrian fleet confirmed her suspicion. The message came as a series of complex mathematical equations, which AI quickly translated. "You show promise, children of Earth. But defensive capability alone does not prove worth. Show us your strength." The Proximan representatives, who had established communication through the Nexus, offered their insight. The Syrians believed that technological inheritance must be earned through combat. Their leader, a being who appeared almost human except for their iridescent skin, explained. "They see themselves as guardians, ensuring that only the strongest colonies claim their birthright." Admiral Harris frowned. "So they want us to attack them?" "Not exactly," the Proximan leader, who called herself Aurora, replied. "They want to see how you think, how you solve problems." The Syrians evolved to value cunning and strategy above all else. Show them something unexpected. Sarah turned to AI, the ancestral archive. "It contains more than just historical records, doesn't it? There's tactical data, weapon schematics." "Correct," AI confirmed. "But accessing that information requires proof of advancement in multiple fields: ethical development, technological understanding, social cooperation. We don't have time for tests." Admiral Harris interrupted. "The Syrians are preparing another attack wave, larger than before." Sarah studied the tactical display, watching the massive Syrian ships move into position. Then she noticed something, a pattern in their movement, a mathematical precision that seemed familiar. "The signal," she whispered. "The one that woke the Nexus. It wasn't just a beacon. It was a key." She turned to AI. "Show me the original signal pattern again." The AI displayed the waveform they had detected beneath the Pacific. Sarah overlaid it with the movement pattern of the Syrian ships. They matched perfectly. "They're not just testing our military capability," she announced. "They're testing our ability to understand our own history, to decode the messages our ancestors left for us." She looked at Admiral Harris. "And I think I know how to prove we're worthy of our inheritance." As the Syrian fleet prepared their next attack, Sarah began transmitting a modified version of the original Nexus signal. But this time, she added something new, a mathematical proof she had discovered in the archive, one that demonstrated the interconnected nature of all human colonies, Syrian included. The effect was immediate. The Syrian ships halted their advance, and a new transmission arrived. "Clever, children of Earth. You understand that strength lies not just in weapons, but in knowledge. Perhaps you are ready for the next trial after all." Victor looked at Sarah. "Next trial? What are they talking about?" Before she could respond, AI's holographic form flickered with urgent new data. Multiple quantum signatures detected. Additional ships entering the system. Energy patterns match. The children of Centauri. And they bring warnings of something approaching from the galactic core. Sarah felt a chill as she watched new data pour across the displays. Whatever was coming, it would make the Syrian challenge look like a mere training exercise. Humanity's true test was just beginning. The children of Centauri arrived in vessels that seemed to bend reality itself, their ships appearing as ripples in the fabric of space-time. Unlike the aggressive Syrians or the diplomatic Proximans, the Centaurians had evolved into beings of pure energy, maintaining human form only when communicating with their younger siblings. Their warning was dire. An ancient enemy was awakening in the galactic core, one that had threatened humanity during their first age of space travel. The very reason their ancestors had scattered across the stars was not just to escape the gamma-ray burst, but to prepare for this enemy's return. We call them the Void, the Centaurian representative, a shifting form of golden light, explained in the Nexus Command Center. They consume civilizations, not for resources or territory, but because they believe consciousness itself is an aberration in the universe. Sarah Chen studied the data the Centaurians had brought. These void entities, they're not organic. They are living mathematics, the representative replied. Self-replicating equations that seek to reduce the universe to pure physics, without the chaos of biological life. They nearly succeeded once before, when humanity first reached the stars. Admiral Harris leaned forward. How did our ancestors stop them? They didn't, came the chilling response. They could only delay them. The Great Dispersion, our separation into different colonies, was part of a long-term strategy. Each colony was designed to develop different aspects of humanity's potential, creating multiple paths of evolution that the Void couldn't predict or counter. Aria's holographic form expanded, showing a map of the galaxy with a dark mass spreading from its center. Void entities detected within 6 months of Earth's location. Their computational patterns have evolved beyond previous encounters. The Syrian fleet, which had remained in the solar system after their test of Earth's capabilities, moved into defensive positions. Their commander, speaking through a neural interface, addressed the gathered representatives. The trial by combat was necessary. We had to know if Earth branch humans had developed the strength to face what comes. Now we stand together. The Proximan ships began linking with the Mars fleet, sharing advanced tactical data and weapon modifications. The Centaurians provided something even more valuable: the full knowledge of humanity's first encounter with the Void, and why the ancestors had chosen such a drastic path of separation and evolution. Each colony represents a different approach to existence. Aurora, the Proximan leader, explained. The Syrians perfected biological and technological warfare. We Proximans mastered energy manipulation and quantum engineering. The Centaurians transcended physical form entirely. But Earth was special. Special how? Sarah asked, though something in her gut told her she already knew the answer. The Centaurian representative's form pulsed with emphasis. Earth branch humans were designed to be adaptable, innovative, unpredictable. While other colonies focused on perfecting specific traits, your line was engineered to maintain the full spectrum of human potential. You are the wild card our ancestors created to counter the Void's perfect mathematical predictions. As if to underscore the point, ARI had displayed new data from the ancestral archive. Earth humans showed more genetic diversity, more neurological variation, and more behavioral unpredictability than any other colony. What had seemed like chaos was actually carefully engineered flexibility. Dr. Elena Santos' voice came through from Mars, where she had been working with the shipyard's deeper systems. The ships are responding to this information. They're evolving. The neural interfaces are becoming more sophisticated, allowing for more creative tactical responses. The next few weeks saw the solar system transform into a fortress. The combined fleets of 4 human branches worked together, preparing for the coming storm. The Mars shipyard produced more vessels, each one adapting to incorporate the strengths of all human colonies. Earth's military forces learned to operate alongside energy beings and living ships, while scientists worked to understand the nature of their enemy. Sarah spent countless hours in the Nexus, working with ARI to unlock more of humanity's buried potential. Our ancestors left us more than just technology, she realized one night, watching the neural patterns of Earth humans interfacing with the ships. They left us their combined knowledge, hidden in our very DNA. We just needed the right key to access it. The key, it turned out, was cooperation between all human branches. As the colonies worked together, new abilities began to emerge. The Syrians' tactical prowess merged with Earth's creativity, Proximan technology enhanced by human intuition, and Centaurian energy manipulation guided by human consciousness. But time was running out. The void's advance accelerated, their computational entities consuming star systems at an alarming rate. The combined human fleet numbered in the thousands, but the void's forces were countless, each one a perfect expression of mathematical destruction. Admiral Harris gathered the fleet commanders for a final briefing. We have 6 days before first contact with the void. Every simulation we've run ends in failure if we fight conventionally. Sarah stepped forward, her eyes bright with a new understanding. Then we don't fight conventionally. Our ancestors didn't just give us weapons. They gave us a way to rewrite the rules of reality itself. We have ships that can alter space-time, energy beings who can manipulate quantum fields, and the most unpredictable tactical minds in the galaxy. She turned to HFY. Show them the full ancestral legacy protocol. The holographic display filled with information that made even the Centaurians pulse with surprise. The ancestors hadn't just prepared for war. They had seeded the galaxy with tools to change the fundamental nature of space itself. Earth wasn't just humanity's cradle. It was the key to unlocking powers that even the void, in all their mathematical perfection, couldn't comprehend. The final battle for existence was about to begin, and humanity, in all its diverse, evolved forms, would face it together. The void arrived like a storm of mathematical perfection, their computational entities darkening the space between stars. The combined human fleet faced them at the edge of the solar system, every ship linked through a neural network that spanned 4 branches of the vault humanity. Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the flagship Genesis, her mind connected to both the ship's systems and the vast network of human consciousness that now unified their forces. Through the neural link, she could feel the Syrians' battle fury, the Proximans' quantum awareness, and the Centaurians' energy manipulation, all flowing together with Earth's creative chaos. "They're scanning us," Admiral Harris reported, his voice steady despite the overwhelming pressure of the void's presence. "Their computational patterns are trying to predict our responses." The void entities spoke in pure mathematics, their message translating across all human communication systems. Biological irregularity detected. Correction protocols initiated. Prepare for optimization. Now, Sarah commanded, and humanity launched its response. The first wave of ships didn't attack. They danced. Moving in patterns that defied physics, the Mars fleet executed maneuvers based on Earth music, art, and poetry. The void entities froze, their perfect calculations disrupted by movements they couldn't predict. Second phase, Admiral Harris ordered. The Syrian vessels unleashed weapons that didn't just fire energy or matter, but probability itself. Each shot split reality into multiple quantum states, forcing the void to process countless possibilities simultaneously. The Proximan fleet added their own chaos to the mix, their quantum tunneling technology creating corridors of altered spacetime throughout the battlefield. But the void adapted quickly. Their computational entities began absorbing the quantum uncertainty, using it to evolve their own patterns. They surged forward, their dark mathematics consuming everything in their path. Their learning, Aurora warned through the neural network, just as our ancestors feared. They can adapt to any pattern they can analyze. Sarah felt a surge of understanding through her connection with the ancestral archive. Then we show them something they can never analyze. What makes us human? Through HFY and the neural network, she activated the final protocol their ancestors had hidden within their dispersed bloodlines. Every human ship, every evolved colony member, began broadcasting not just energy or data, but pure consciousness, hopes, dreams, fears, love, contradiction, and creativity. The void entities recoiled as they encountered something their perfect mathematics couldn't process: the beautiful chaos of human experience, multiplied across 4 different evolutionary paths and 100,000 years of separate development. "Push harder," Sarah urged through the network. "Show them everything we are." The Centaurians transformed into pure conscious energy, their golden light carrying the accumulated wisdom of their transcendent existence. The Sirians unleashed battle songs that carried the genetic memory of 1,000 generations of warriors. The Proximans channeled raw quantum possibility filtered through human intuition. And Earth unleashed its secret weapon, pure, unfiltered human creativity. Through the neural network, they broadcasted art, music, dance, poetry, love, loss, triumph, and tragedy. Every contradiction, every irrational dream, every impossible hope that made humanity what it was. The void entities began to fracture, their perfect mathematical patterns corrupted by concepts they couldn't reduce to equations. Some tried to retreat, others attempted to adapt. But the sheer overwhelming flood of human consciousness proved too much for their rigid existence. Their computational matrix is collapsing, Araya announced. The collective human consciousness is creating paradoxes in their base code. The battle reached its crescendo as humanity's combined fleet pressed their advantage. Ships moved in patterns based on children's drawings, weapons fired in rhythms of ancient songs, and reality itself seemed to bend around the power of human imagination. The void entities, for the first time in their existence, experienced something they couldn't process: doubt. Their perfect mathematics couldn't account for the power of human irrationality, the strength found in embracing chaos rather than trying to eliminate it. In a final, desperate attempt to understand, the void entities tried to directly interface with the human neural network. It was their last mistake. The full force of human consciousness, evolved along 4 different paths, but united in its beautiful imperfection, overwhelmed their systems completely. Where the void entities had been, new patterns emerged. Mathematics infused with consciousness, perfect computation, transformed by contact with human chaos into something entirely new. As the transformed entities retreated toward the galactic core, the neural network carried a collective realization. This was what their ancestors had planned all along. Not to destroy the void, but to change them, to introduce the spark of consciousness into their perfect but empty existence. Sarah stood on the Genesis observation deck weeks later, watching ships from all 4 human branches moving through the solar system in harmony. Representatives from Earth's nations had gathered to sign the first Galactic Human Accord, formally reuniting the scattered children of Earth. "Our ancestors took an enormous risk," she said to Admiral Harris as they observed the proceedings. "Splitting humanity, letting us develop separately, hiding our true history until we were ready to understand it. They trusted in what makes us human," he replied. "Not our technology or our strength, but our ability to embrace chaos, to find beauty in imperfection, to create art from uncertainty." Through the neural network, Sarah felt the presence of their evolved cousins, the warrior Sirians, the quantum-touching Proximans, the transcendent Centaurians, all carrying different aspects of humanity's potential. Together, they had proved that the universe needed more than perfect mathematics. It needed the beautiful, chaotic, impossible dream that was human consciousness. The stars stretched out before them, no longer a void to be feared, but a canvas awaiting humanity's next great creation.